Hey YouTube, welcome back to Dwayne's World. So I gotta tell you, in the last couple weeks, I've had numerous people ask me and tell me, Dwayne, what are you waiting for? Dwayne, it's gonna be too late. Dwayne, I don't know why you have already moved on to step 2 and step 3, but you haven't even done step 1. Want to find out what they're talking about? You need to stay tuned. All right, to answer some of those questions I had during my intro, yes, it is true. Based on a calendar, it may appear I'm late. And yes, it's true, I have done step 2 before I've done step 1. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about pre-emergent. So today's video, I'm very excited, and why I'm featuring, a pre-emergent video. And I know there's a lot of pre-emergent videos that are on the internet or on YouTube that you can easily check out. Mine is going to be similar, but new for me, because I am going to be using a product I've never used before. So I'm very excited to be able to talk to you guys about that and what that looks like. And with that, let's get on to today's video. All right, so you're probably looking at this table thinking, geez, Dwayne, that seems like a lot of stuff. I don't know if I want to do a pre-emergent this year. No, slow down here. It's not going to be as crazy as it may look. I just really wanted to provide a lot of different options for you guys and things I've done in the past that have worked really well. I change up my strategy from time to time, which is why I have so many different things I'm able to show you guys, but there is a purpose between each of them, and hopefully by watching this video, you'll be able to figure out which one is the right one for you. So one of the first things you're going to need to decide when selecting a pre-emergent is, how am I going to apply this to my lawn? So there's a couple different options there. You have probably what in most would be considered an easier option, which is to go with the granular. And in fact, that's actually what I'm going to do today in today's video. But there's also the option to go with the liquid-based application. Now I will say that even though granular is easier, a liquid application is actually much more accurate because you have much better control of where you're placing that pre-emergent. The key though to any type of liquid application, this doesn't just only have to do with pre-emergent, but also fertilizers, plant growth regulators, or anything that's coming out of your battery-powered backpack sprayer or sprayer. It's important that you have it calibrated. So that way you're applying the correct amount of product to the correct amount of square footage on your lawn. That's what ultimately is going to give you a great success. Now, there are more other options as it relates to pre-emergence than what I'm going to show here today. But a common one that is probably used throughout the industry is Prodiamine, which is the active ingredient. Now, Prodiamine is definitely a great product and definitely something I would highly recommend. They come in much smaller quantities. You do not have to buy this big jug that I have here. At the time that I purchased that, there was not the option to be able to buy these smaller bottles, which I probably would be buying today, just because you don't use pre-emergent every day. What you're looking at here, though, is for liquid application. So this one is made by Quali Pro. Now, it doesn't matter necessarily the manufacturer. What you're looking for is the active ingredient, which is Prodiamine. Whether or not you're going with a liquid application or a granular application, it's really important that you read your manufacturer's suggested rates, because it will vary depending on your turf type, as well as how long you plan on your pre-emergent staying in the ground. There is a maximum amount of pre-emergent you can apply to your lawn within a 12-month period. And that's kind of why you're seeing a couple different options here. Generally, throughout the life of my lawn that I've owned it, I've mainly used Prodiamine, and it's definitely worked out really well. However, this season, I figured I wanted to change it up and go with Dithiopyr. So you may be asking yourself, well, Dwayne, if Prodiame worked out so great for you, why are you switching away from it in the fall season? And the reason why I'm switching away from it in fall season is because of the fact that I've already used my yearly allowance and how much of this product I can apply to my soil. So that's why I've decided for the fall season to go with Dithiopyr. Dithiopyr is probably a better product in most people's opinion to apply during spring. It just happened to be the way the calendar year was now, and I've already used up the maximum amount for Prodiamine. It's going to now be hard to shift it the other way. However, the nice thing about Dithiopyr, even though it has all the same properties as far as being able to disrupt and be able to prevent weeds in my lawn, Dithiopyr has reach back capability. So what does that mean? If I applied this in spring, or maybe I got it down a little bit late, it does have the ability to kill baby crabgrass after it's already germinated. Prodiamine absolutely will not do that. Prodiamine is strictly just going to prevent weeds from showing up. Dithiopyr does have a reach back capability. One of the things I like about granular pre-emergents, a lot of them, whether it's Prodiamine or whether it's Dithiopyr, you can find them with the 007 formulation. So meaning it's going to give you potassium in your lawn, which is always nice. Potassium is one of those things you can add to your lawn in the fall season without negatively affecting it. In fact, when I've done my soil test, generally that is a macro that comes back a little bit more on the lower side than I would like. So I'm always constantly wanting to feed my lawn the potassium, because it definitely will help with the overall health of my Bermuda turf. So I just wanted to mention that, as well, if you choose to go with the liquid application, unless you add in something as a supplement, you will not get that extra boost of potassium that most granulars will provide to you. All right, so you may be wondering, Dwayne, is there ever a time where I shouldn't apply a pre-emergent? Yeah, absolutely. Let me show you. That's why. All right, so let me just quickly jump in here and talk about that perennial ryegrass and what's going on. A question that you may have asked or may have wondered is, Dwayne, don't you have a front yard? I know you have a backyard, obviously, but what about the front? And to be honest with you, the front's really struggled this year, and I don't know what it is. The front does get a lot more shade than the back, just because of the fact that it is a smaller yard. But because of that, just not that it struggled, tremendously in prior years, but this last year, I don't know why, it was just really tough. It took forever to come out of dormancy, it took forever to green up. I got quite a few patches of spring dead spot and other dead spots that just won't grow because of shade. So it is not really a lawn, even though it looks fairly decent to the average person. People that walk by my lawn in the neighborhood say, well, your grass looks green, but I understand all the problems with it. I understand the bare spots and why those bare spots exist. So I figured this year, what better time than ever to overseed? Now, even I know for a fact, even I've never overseeded this lawn since living in this home. The prior homeowner did. And, I'm still, I dealt with some of those issues after, taking over the lawn and still having ryegrass in my lawn that I needed to ultimately kill off. So I figured, you know what? Since the lawn really struggled this year, I know I could probably do it the right way, and, being able to put down that seed, get it to germinate, and then, when it's time to come for Bermuda to wake back up, be able to follow all the right steps to be able to make sure that that happens in the right way as well, because there is a right and there's a wrong way when it comes to overseeding your Bermuda lawn with perennial ryegrass. So look forward to that, and also hopefully you guys subscribe to my channel, follow my content, and that will be coming up in the very near future here, because as our temperatures start to drop, it's going to be perfect timing to throw down that seed. So again, that's the only time you do not use a pre-emergent, is when you're planning on doing any type of seeding project. That will absolutely affect your results from that seed being able to germinate. All right, so as you guys can see here, I have my bucket that is from the wonderful company of Home Depot. 5-gallon bucket, and I have a little scale here that's actually meant for a luggage scale, but hopefully it's going to come in here on the display. But basically, when I lift it here, if you look, it's about a little over 30 pounds, and that's okay because of the fact that my bucket weighs about 2 pounds. It's like 1.8 or something like that. I didn't zero it out, so it's a little over 30, and you take that 1.8, so it's close to 28, 29 pounds, which is about what I need. All right, so let me show you guys what the product looks like. So it looks like, kind of like a gravel, if not like a little bit of a tiny pebble stone type of look to it. So, the prill size, obviously not a small prill. Normally I like that smaller prill size, which I'm sure this is going to work fine. But if I look at the Anderson's one, which is one of the reasons why I really like Anderson's products, the prill size is much smaller. Let me kind of show you guys what that one looks like. All right, so hopefully I can get in here for a view. We'll see. But if you look here, at the Anderson's product, hopefully you're able to see that. It's a much smaller prill size than the other one. So that might be something you may want to consider when you're looking at your pre-emergent, if that's something you're particular about, is the prill. All right, and with that, I am going to use my Anderson spreader to throw down the product. All right, so here she is. Again, 7,000 square foot of hybrid Bermuda. Being 7,000 square feet again, I'm going to need 28 pounds, which I already have measured out in my hopper as I showed you guys. But let me show you where I have my spreader setting set. So on the Anderson spreader, it calls for this rate to be on the M, so that's what I'm going to do. What I'm basically going to do when applying my pre-emergent is I'm going to go in this pattern here. this would do on the lawn. It really kind of helps you see where you last were. So I think this stripe right here was where I finished off. It's also where stripe action really comes in to help out as well. You know, you can use kind of your lines when you lay down your stripe action to be able to, you know, kind of be marker points for you when applying your pre-emergent. So again, I wanted to share that point because of the fact that sometimes you have a difficult time knowing where you last left off when applying any type of granular or liquid application, and your footsteps or the wheels of the spreader here really work out nice to be able to make sure you're getting even coverage. Point out, last year on my lawn, kind of where my fingers are here, this line here, and maybe a little bit over, a little bit left and right of there, is where I had the most amount of poana. So poana also is going to have seed heads that drop seeds. So if there's going to be any POA seeds, this is where they're going to be in the large majority of my lawn, versus on the other part of my lawn, I did not have as much of an outbreak. So because I know that I'm going to have a lot of poana here potentially, I wanted to make sure I get this area really good. Now, I still have a little bit left in my hopper here because I still have to go behind me here, behind my son's playhouse and whatnot, to be able to cover that area. But this area especially, I want to make sure that I'm hitting right. Now, this isn't necessarily in the playbook, like meaning it doesn't say to do this whenever you are applying a pre-emergent. This is just my thoughts and how I was even able to attack some of the crabgrass in my yard, is really focusing on those areas where I know that I've had the outbreak, because of the fact that's where you're going to have the most seed germination from the prior weed that was there a year ago. I hope that makes sense. So again, I'm going to run it in this direction right here and throw down that pre-emergent. I think the reason why I'm applying this pre-emergent one isn't necessarily because I couldn't wait, because I'm sure I could wait longer. And the only reason why I could wait longer is because the fact that we're still in the 90s. It's crazy. It just will not cool down. Now, I keep saying, oh, next week it's going to be in the 80s, next week it's going to be in the 80s. I feel like it's Groundhog's Day on every one of my videos. I keep saying the same thing. I apologize about that, but it's just the reality. You know, I feel like the rest of the country has already put down their pre-emergent. And here at Dwayne's World, we're the only ones waiting. Well, which I know is not true. There's a lot of people that are probably in the same boat I am that live in Southern California, right? So maybe they're holding off as well until the right moment. But At the same time, I want to get it down. It's really important. I'd rather have it down early than have it down too late. I could have probably waited another week or two because my soil temperatures have to still be above 60 degrees. Otherwise, the Bermuda would not look the way it does, and I would already start to see signs of dormancy. Now, up front, I would say that my soil temperature has cooled off there because that area gets a lot more shade, and my Bermuda, you can tell, is definitely starting to check out. But at the same time, that's a moot point because, like I said, I got things planned for that front yard, and I do not want to apply pre-emergent. And after watching this video, I know you know why I'm choosing not to throw down that pre-emergent. So now that's all that's left. I don't know if you guys can see it. I am watering in. Let Mother Nature do its thing, right? With all kidding aside, it is very important in order for this pre-emergent to work properly. You do want to make sure it does get watered in. So if you're not using irrigation, you're relying on Mother Nature, God bless you. But you want to make sure you put this down when you know you're going to have rain in your forecast to really help this product get down into the soil where it needs to be. It's not a it's not a foliar application. It is a soil application, right? So you want to make sure you do water it in so that way this pre-emergent starts to work and starts to prevent those weeds from coming up. Now, again, won't have to worry about this till springtime. You know, when that time comes around, I'm sure I'll do another video. But at the same time, I'm very, very excited to have now put down my pre-emergent and have joined the club and follow the advice that I put out there as it relates to fall lawn care and kind of practice what I preach. I kind of felt guilty. So I'm telling everybody else to put down their pre-emergent, but I haven't. And with that, be excellent and party on.